welcome to FanPark Live. The most enthralling end to a Premier League game I have seen in a long, long time. We're going to dissect it for you. We're going to take your calls on 0203 606 0315. Please remember to download the One Football app. We're going to be using it to dissect the game, as I say. You can get all the information for that in the description below. But where to start with that second half? I mean, 2 penalties, a wonderful magician-like goal for Salah.
Yeah.
Liverpool. Wanyama's strike.
The game just came to light from Wanyama's goal. It was just unbelievable strike.
Just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal indeed. First question I'll ask you, bruv. 2-2, fair result?
I think on the balance of play, no, I think Spurs were the better side. I think they were the better side. Great second half performance, but the game had everything. The game had absolutely everything. It was kind of a real scrappy affair. Right up until Wanyama scored the absolute goal of the season contender, it was a bit scrappy, but from that point on, we had like 15-20 minutes of some of the most entertaining football we've had all season, really.
Do you look at this, though, and think Liverpool, again, Spurs were doing everything to play into Liverpool's hands. Spurs had all of the ball. Liverpool were counter-attacking. But whether it's a great strike, whether it's giving away 2 really poor, for me, stonewall penalties, both of them. And anyone wants to say they're not penalties, come on the air, 0203 606 0315. We will debate that. But Liverpool give you chances.
I said it at half-time. I said to one of the callers, I said, look, Liverpool will guarantee to cough you up opportunities. They cannot see out a game. They never game manage very well when they're in the lead, and they're always bound to give your team an opportunity.
Got a call coming through here. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name, mate?
It's Mohammed. I was on here before.
Lovely. Mohammed,
I mean,
how are you feeling as a Liverpool fan? That noise you just made, I mean, look, listen, let me ask you this. There's loads of Liverpool fans here on my comments on the Football Terrace channel saying none of them were penalties, the referee's a cheat, worst linesman in history. Do you agree? First and foremost, were they penalties?
The first one was not a penalty. The second one, 50-50. But
I mean, Van Dijk kicked him in the back of the leg full pelt. You saw, I mean, for me, that was the clearest because he kicked him in the back. He didn't mean to, but he went to swing his leg for the ball and he kicked him in the back of the leg, stonewall. Why wasn't the first one a penalty to you?
I mean, there was no contact. Carriers, when he came out, he didn't. There was no contact at all. So I don't know how that was given as a penalty.
I can see your point on that because what I think Kane did, he let his leg make the touch. He created the contact. Kane there. There were, I can see where you're coming from. There was contact, but I think, as a lot of these strikers do nowadays, Kane created the contact.
Yeah, when Karius goes to ground like that, goes for the ball and misses it, I don't agree with it because the players are going to make sure there's contact. This is what's going to happen. But that's what happened. Your goalie was slow off his line. He didn't make contact with the ball. Referee was left, for me, with no choice. The second one, you've just gone and taken the lead. There's a minute or so to go. Van Dijk, who had a very good game, misses his opportunity to reach the ball with his head and then just swings a needless boot. Again, just poor organisational defending from Liverpool. In terms of the rest of the game, though, Spurs were coming at you. Liverpool didn't counter-attack in that second half how I thought they would. They were very, very poor. Mane was pulled off the pitch. The substitutes from Jurgen Klopp didn't work again. It's another game where your manager has thrown away a lead twice. Are you still backing this guy to win you guys titles again? Or is that it? Are you looking at it now and thinking, this guy is never going to be able to hold on to leads of games. He has to go.
That's the thing of Klopp. Like, his stubbornness is not going to win us any trophies, and I've always said it. He's not going to win us any trophies at all in the future. It's just so annoying that we have to watch this stuff every single time. It's like we never change. It's the same crap all the time.
So what's the option? I mean, if you don't, you're a Liverpool fan, you don't think Klopp's going to win you trophies. Are you just happy then to accept finishing in the top 4 occasionally, getting to semi-finals? Is that Liverpool's level now? I'm
not happy with that, no. I think end of the season he has to go. I mean, every time the ball is in our half, it just seems that with the pressure, it's just like we capitulate. It's I don't know. It's time for change. I mean.
Mate, really do appreciate your call as ever. Many more people trying to get through. Yeah. We'll speak to you again soon, Mohammed. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Well, he hung up before I did there. Lots of comments coming through. Him just picking up the iPad from the Football Banter Show. Believe in Klopp. Listen, listen, you thick, ignorant people. I hope by watching this game you will finally realise football is fixed. That's from Scouse Gaming. There's no fix there, was there? That's not a conspiracy. No. Who makes Liverpool defend that badly? How is a referee in control of Van Dijk kicking Lamella in the back of the leg? How did John Moss make him do that?
No, that's not the case at all.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Noah.
Hello, Noah, regular caller of the show. I want to go straight to the penalty decisions with you. A lot of Liverpool fans, as though the referee cheated them out of the game, poor refereeing decisions. As a neutral, how did you see it?
I hate Tottenham so much, but the problem is, I think the referee had to get it spot on in that position.
Do you think he did get it spot on?
Yeah, I think he did.
There we have it. That's a neutral. That's actually an Arsenal fan. So, yeah, obviously, I would say less neutral than say, a Watford supporter. This guy clearly hates Tottenham from a footballing perspective. What went wrong for Liverpool today, though? Forget the penalties. What didn't they do on the pitch that they should have done? Because Spurs were prodding and probing, but they weren't creating chances. It took an absolute wonder strike from Wanyama to undo the game.
Yeah.
What? Trying to stay from the back.
Yeah, no, I get that. So, but from Liverpool's point of view, why wasn't their counter-attack working today?
I think Spurs at the back are a lot stronger than you might not. If you're attacking like Liverpool are, then Spurs need to be prepared for it because Liverpool's attack is deadly. But the problem is that Spurs were just on it today.
Fair enough, Noah. Really do appreciate your call, mate.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Let me ask you this, bruv. Let me ask you this question. I keep talking about sacking Jurgen Klopp. And again, I've said this to you. You know, you heard me say this during the game when we weren't on air, that I think he's attacking plays genius, right?
Yeah.
That they're world-class when they go forward. I praise Liverpool. My issue is, in a game like today, they threw... How many times this season has he thrown away leads?
Yeah.
If Liverpool... My argument is this. If Liverpool are happy to be a top 4 occasional team, semi-finals of cup competitions, but never the champions again, then stick with Klopp. But he keeps throwing away leads. £75 million, the most ever spent on a defender, and they've conceded about 11 goals since he's been in the team.
Look, I mean, you take this game, but I had a conversation with a good friend of mine after they beat Man City. I rang him up. I said, look, great game, great win to beat Man City. I said, but you nearly threw it away. And we had a 5-minute sort of heated debate about, but we've just beaten Man City. I said, but can't you see why Liverpool won't win a title? They could win a Champions League playing that style of football, but over a long course of a marathon season, you can't win a league playing that way. It is impossible. They're just throwing away leads all the time. You can't play that way.
Absolutely right. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
It's Gaurav again.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Did you? You sound quite happy. Did you enjoy that second half of football?
Thank you. As a neutral, that was one of the best games, yeah. But I want to comment on Liverpool. They're so leggy. I've never seen a team, except Man United against Tottenham on Wednesday, so leggy, so slow. The intensity was so poor by Liverpool.
Why do you think that is, though? Why do you think it is?
I think, when they had this chance in the 52nd minute when Tottenham, when Son went through, then I saw momentum to Tottenham, momentum to Tottenham, personally.
There we go. Thank you very much for that call, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
The problem with playing in a pressing game all season long is it's high intensity. You know, when you constantly pressing a team, game after game, I think it has an effect on you throughout the season. You can't do that for the whole game. Liverpool pressed Tottenham very hard in the first half, and come 60 minutes, that's why the changes were being made and the substitutions, because they were tired in midfield. It was obvious, wasn't it? You know, Spurs dominated large proportion of the second half and really got at Liverpool. You know,
let's have a little look at this here. I know that. Oh, we've got a Tottenham fan that we're going to take a call from a Tottenham fan, and then we're going to review the stats on the One Football app to look at that. But I think you are right. This Liverpool team looked shot. They looked punch drunk. Yeah, they look finished. They look exhausted.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
My name's Ahmed. How are you?
I'm very well, Ahmed. Spurs fan, right?
Yeah, Spurs fan.
Okay, so from your point of view, how are you feeling right now after that game?
Honestly, mate, feeling very disappointed. I got ready to smash the TV.
Why are you disappointed, though? You were losing twice. You walked away with a point in the last minute.
I've always thought that we could beat Liverpool. Liverpool aren't that good defensively, but this game was bare average. Bare average, I'd say.
Okay, so what was it that your team weren't doing that you expected them to be better at today?
Honestly, Potts got the team selection wrong. I think that Oria and Wanyama should have started from the start, and Trippier and Dyer shouldn't have played today. So,
well, I think in the second half, I think he made a lot of a bit of a shuffle in the formation. He actually got Spurs attacking players to sit in between Liverpool's midfield and defence and receive passes into that area. They were a lot more positive in the second half. Spurs, they played at a quicker pace, and to be honest with you, if Spurs had won the game in the second half, I couldn't have argued with that, because they were much the better team.
They were the better team. I see that, but I think that Poch is ruining this great team, because this is the best team that we've had over the last 10 years. This is the best team.
But is Poch not the man that's created this? You're saying he's ruining this great team, but he's the one that's created it, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's true. I see that point as well, but I don't see how we're going to win the title with Poch. I think Harry Redknapp can get us challenging for.
You want Harry Redknapp back? Yeah,
I'd love him back. Yeah, I think he'll get us challenging for like top two, maybe even first, even win us a trophy. Poch has got, I don't know, he's tactically inept for me.
Well, he certainly got it wrong in the first half. What's your thoughts on Harry Kane today, becoming the second fastest player to reach 100 Premier League goals?
Kane is legend. Kane is Tottenham. Kane is everything to me, man. I can't say it too much, man. Kane is just one word, amazing. He's a legend.
It is interesting because we were sitting there, weren't we? We were watching the penalty. We got the producer today, Javon was sort of like, they can't take this second penalty, and we're both sitting there. Took courage to do that.
Take the second one.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, I thought it was always right for Kane to score the 100th goal against Arsenal. That's what I was thinking. I don't know. I thought it was that.
Yeah, but you needed him to step up and get that goal. So you walk away with a very look. Anfield is a very tough place to get points at.
Very tough,
you walked away with a point. Great football against them. I think again you've shown another way that Liverpool can be exposed. I thought Spurs in that second half were fantastic. If Pochettino had got his tactics right in the beginning, and Eric Dyer hadn't played that silly back pass in the opening 2 minutes, it would have been a very different game. I actually think that Liverpool would have been beaten, because outside of Spurs' mistakes, outside of even their second goal, just poor goalkeeping, Lloris dropping to the ground, should have cleared the ball sooner. I looked at Liverpool and they didn't do very, other than Salah, that a couple of great moments from a world-class player. Liverpool, for me, didn't counter-attack well. They weren't creating gilt-edged chances. They weren't dominating against this Liverpool team. Sorry, against this Spurs team without Tottenham making mistakes. And that's what shone through massively to me.
Exactly. And I think that the players that we have, they're not, let's say, barring Kane, Vertonghen, Eriksen, like Lamela, I don't think he's Tottenham standard. I don't think he's Championship standard, to be honest. He doesn't.
Well, Lamela's an interesting one, but because before he got his injury, that's kept him out for a long while. There was a time when he was playing regularly, week in, week out, that he was creating opportunities and scoring quite a few goals for you, especially in that Champions League season that you had.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm saying this as a Tottenham fan. I'd love Mahrez at Tottenham. That's the one thing that I want.
Maybe in the summer.
Maybe in the summer.
Possible now. Yeah, very, very possible. Mate, listen, really do appreciate your call, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
And you.
Cheers, mate. We're going to go to the One Football app now and have a little look. I'm going to give Daniel my vote for man of the match. So we're going to get this up on the screen for you all to see. Make sure you go into the description, whether you're watching this on Facebook, Twitter, or the numerous YouTube channels that we're currently on right now. This is a free of charge app. Anybody can have it. Go and download it now. The information is in our description below. But you see here, game finished 2-2. First of all, they've gone best player. So, I mean, Mo Salah's been voted as the best player today. When you look at that, who would you go with?
It's a difficult one, because if you look at it up until when Wanyama scores that, I think that's probably the best goal so far this season. But up until that point, it was a scrappy game.
Yep. I
can see why people say Mo Salah was the best player, because especially his second goal was world class.
Yeah.
I can't argue really against that, because up until the 70th minute, no one really stood out too well. The game didn't come alive until Wanyama scored. I'll probably lean towards Salah being the best player on the pitch.
I agree. I probably would have gone with Van Dijk had he not given away that penalty in the last minute, because we were talking throughout the whole of that first half, especially winning every ball in the air, great tackles, excellent blocks when Spurs did get inside. He had a very good game. But as with all of Liverpool's defenders under Jurgen Klopp, and I said this, didn't I, as well? Didn't I say this? This is facts. Yeah. My brother wouldn't lie. I said he has a mistake in him every game. No matter how good he's been, there is a big mistake in Van Dijk every single game, and it happened today. Let's look at some of the statistics here, though. Let's get this up. I mean, this is a rarity, actually. It is a rarity for Liverpool to actually draw or lose a game when they've only had around 35% of the ball. They tend to win all the games that are done like that. However, there are always variables. One, poor goalkeeping from Karius to give away the penalty, and poor defending or poor decision making. Look, 2 penalties. Those areas cost the team. Poor clearance from a punch as well. Those are mistakes that lead into it. But if you look at the chances, now this is how dominant Spurs became. In the first half, they only had 4 shots, I think none on target. Second half, they managed to raise that to 13 shots on goal, 6 of them on target. Liverpool barely got forward.
Well, they did. I think, I know what you're talking about, Liverpool trying to play counter-attack, but if you're, it's hard to say, because if you're coughing up that amount of possession against quality players, they're going to make it count. And to be fair, I do feel Spurs would probably feel a little bit unlucky not to walk away with the 3 points on the overall balance of play.
When you look at this, so both teams 16 tackles each, okay, but clearances, 41 clearances Liverpool had to make in that game.
Yeah.
And 12 interceptions.
Yeah, they were defending well up until a point in the second half, Liverpool, under all that pressure.
Always a mistake in that team. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name? Hello.
Nobody there.
Are you nervous?
Hello.
It's okay, you don't have to be shy. We don't bite here. I promise. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, hello. Who's this?
It's Matthew McDonald.
Matthew McDonald. How you doing, Matthew McDonald?
Not too bad, you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. You comment on my channel quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. I remember the name. So how are you feeling after that enthralling Premier League game of football?
Well, let's put it this way. When the game ended, my brand new phone hit the settee next to me. I was absolutely raging.
Hang on a minute. You threw your phone at the settee?
Not the wall.
Yes.
That's amateur. Hang on.
You should have hit the wall.
Don't throw it then. I don't want to break my phone. I'm going to show my anger, but I'm going to make sure I purposely aim it at a cushion so it doesn't crack. That's not real anger, Matthew.
The point is, but I had to exact my anger somewhere, but I was not happy at the end of the game. I've been saying to my mate for a couple of weeks now, Klopp out, and this has just proven it again.
Why'd you say that?
Why? Because if you look at the subs he made, what impact did they have, really?
I think they came on purely because half that midfield were completely knackered. You know what I mean? The interesting one was why Mane came off. I weren't too, unless he didn't appear to have an injury. I would have been inclined to have kept Mane on, to be honest.
I mean, I don't think Mane had. He didn't have a great game, but he didn't have a terrible game. I don't understand why he came off.
No.
Matthew, you want Klopp out then? I understand. Now, I agree with you about Jurgen Klopp needing to lose his job because I look at teams like Liverpool, I look at teams like Arsenal, and I think that unless you're challenging for titles, you're underachieving. And I don't care that it's been 30 years or so since you won a title, and I don't mean that to dig at your club. I believe your history, your heritage, your fan base, your income, your money, all of that collectively together, Liverpool Football Club should be challenging for titles. Jurgen Klopp has the players. He has the infrastructure. He's clearly had the backing of the board. £75 million on a defender. You cannot challenge your owners anymore that they're not investing. But he cannot keep clean sheets. He cannot shut teams out. And in my opinion, he's never going to win you a big trophy. What would you say to Liverpool fans that still want to support Jurgen Klopp?
I think the fans that are still supporting him now, they're only supporting him because they like the way we play. They like the way we can counter-attack and we play a nice brand of football going forward. And to them, I say, you've got no aspiration for the club. There's none at all.
So, go on.
Yeah, while he's here, that's great, being able to play good football. But at this point now, we're spending so much money on a defender. You'd think that he'd be able to adapt his game a bit, to be able to be a bit more solid at the back. I mean, a manager that's saying he can write 2 pages on everything about defending is not a proper manager, really, is he?
I mean, you can bring Van Dijk in, but ultimately you still have Lovren at the back. I don't rate. You know what I mean? And either side of that, you've got 2 young fullbacks in today. Actually, in the first half, they both played very well. So you've got Van Dijk, you know, who's a quality defender, amongst youngsters, and Lovren I don't particularly rate. It's awful, to be honest with you, most weeks for Liverpool. You know, you haven't got a solid back 4 to rely on.
Let me ask you this. So, you know, there are a lot of football fans at the moment that I think have been indoctrinated by the press to believe that beautiful looking football is all that matters. So I actually think if a team like Chelsea was to win the Premier League again, Man United maybe do it, if they're not playing it Pep or Klopp's way, they're going to be ridiculed for it because
And I think the idea of fans wanting that better football and the teams that don't play as great football on the eye winning trophies, I'd rather have the mix taken out of me for playing boring football and have a Premier League title.
Is there a manager that you'd replace him with? Who would be your choice?
Simeone, I think, is an ideal replacement.
Do you want me back
here? I think Atletico, he's not a greatest season recently, but he's solid at the back, and he has the attack going forward. He has a nice balance for it. I mean, I think someone like Luis Enrique was available. He's got to be a better option than Jurgen Klopp at the minute.
Look, Matthew, really do appreciate your call. Thank you.
Yep.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. The application that runs the live stream crashed, so we did drop off. If you are having any issues, just refresh the stream, and we are back now. What you can all do for us as well is a massive favour. Whatever platform you're watching this on, please hit that like button. Please hit that share button for us as well. But you've just heard there from Matthew, Liverpool fan, wants Jurgen Klopp out, knows that it's attractive, lovely looking football, but at the end of the day, if you're not keeping clean sheets, if you're not shutting teams out, you ain't going to win the league. And what I would say is, when you're Man City and you can afford to have world-class players in the majority of positions and great strength in depth, you can get away with playing like that. And if you look at the defenders City have compared to Liverpool's, you can do it. When you look at Barcelona's defenders that they had when they were winning titles with Klopp, with Pep Guardiola and beyond, even when Klopp was winning things with Dortmund, they had like Matt Hummels, the best German centre-back in the world in their team. Much better defenders than Liverpool have. Do you not feel, would you not say to Liverpool fans, would you not rather slow the attacking down a little bit, get your defensive organisation working? Because if they could keep more clean sheets, they'd definitely challenge for the title, wouldn't they?
100%. I mean, they're always going to score goals, Liverpool. They've just got to work out a way of, when they take a lead in a game, at some point, to shut up shop.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be able, as an 11, work that out amongst yourselves, not leave yourselves open. I mean, today's game, I think the half time in football is one of these things. Liverpool wouldn't have wanted the half time to have come. Spurs couldn't wait for it. And in that period, that 15-minute break, obviously Pochettino's had a change, and Liverpool have not reacted to how Spurs set themselves up for the second half. It was a completely different game, and they didn't react. They were tired, Liverpool. I'm not too sure why they were so tired. They shouldn't have been.
No, not at all. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hello, my name is H.
H.
Are
you a Liverpool fan?
No, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Arsenal fan. Okay, so neutral to this game. We'll jump straight into the biggest contentious points. The penalties that Spurs were given and awarded. What was your view on them?
In my opinion, the first penalty, that shouldn't have been given. But the second one, that was definitely a penalty. Like, Van Dijk kicked the guy. And, yeah.
So what would you say? What would you say to Liverpool fans calling the referee a cheat?
Nah, that's just moaning. That's not true.
There we go, Liverpool fans. You're just moaning. Yes, go on, mate. What you got to say?
Yeah, Van Dijk kicked him, so I don't get why they're saying that wasn't a foul when that was.
Let me read this comment out to you. I'd love your opinion on this, buddy. This is from one of the Figueroa on the Football Banter Show. Their comment says, "Finally, a Liverpool fan who isn't deluded, and they take the mickey out of parking the bus, but they never win any trophies." So we had a Liverpool fan on before, Matthew, that basically said he'd rather his team park the bus more and win trophies than just play all this flamboyant football. What's your view on that? Is it all about playing attractive football, or do you need to get the balance right?
Van Dijk, not Van Dijk, Liverpool, they've been playing entertaining football, but Klopp's been there for 3 seasons and hasn't won any trophy. So I don't get why the Liverpool fans still back him.
Liverpool got a history of backing their manager. You know, the only time in their recent history where they haven't backed one is Roy Hodgson. In actual fact, he played a completely different brand of football to what Klopp's playing. When Roy Hodgson was in charge, it was a lot more safe. It was a lot more defensive, and Liverpool fans actually didn't like that. That was probably the only time in my reckoning that they haven't backed a manager. They've got a history of sticking with managers. You know?
I get that. And my view is this: I'm absolutely fine with Liverpool fans backing Jurgen Klopp, but I want them to admit that they're happy never to win trophies. I want to hear him say it, because that's my point here. I don't believe he's going to win them a major trophy. If they're happy with the occasional League Cup, if they're happy with maybe an FA Cup every 10 years, then I say to them, crack on with Jurgen Klopp. Knock yourselves out. But if they aspire to be champions of England again, if they aspire to lift their 6th, their 7th European Cup, they are not doing it with Jurgen Klopp. And they've got the money. Jurgen Klopp has spent more money. If anyone gives me net spend, I will actually destroy you. They have spent more money than Man United have done under Jose Mourinho. So they're in and around the same amount of points, yeah, but they ain't won trophies yet. And for me, I don't get this. Maybe Liverpool fans now are happy to never win trophies again as long as the football is entertaining. Maybe that's the standard. Maybe 30 years of not winning the league has dumbed them down, as diluted their expectations of football to say, okay, as long as we get entertained a little bit, we'll accept whatever's put in front of us. As long as we never get a Roy Hodgson again. Maybe that's what's happened, Liverpool fans. Come and let us know. Mate, really appreciate your call. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Wait, can I say something?
Yeah, go on then.
My friend that supports Liverpool, he keeps saying it's the board that don't back Klopp.
They've just spent £75 million on a defender.
Yeah, 75 million. That is a mug. I think Klopp should get that.
It's a mug.
All of them are mugs. So
mate, that's it. Any Liverpool fans that says the manager's not getting backs, just say £75 million on Virgil van Dijk. Cheers, mate. Oh, he already hung up. He said he's a mug and hung up. He might drop that. Look, do you think... Look, we know they're not spending the same money as City. Hello? Oh, that was weird. I thought I heard someone. Anyway, they're not spending what City have spent. But when you're spending £75 million on Van Dijk, when you're able to spend nearly 60 million on Keita coming in the summer, that's backing, right?
That is severe backing. That is. I can't wait for Keita to join the league. That is a player.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
It's Babs again.
Oh, hello, mate. How are you? You sound depressed.
Yeah, I'm just bored of this club. I'm just tired. I'm exhausted. I used to be very optimistic. You know, when Klopp first came, I was very happy, and I've just been let down. I just feel like I've been supporting the club for 15 years. Yeah, my dad put me into the club, and I've only seen us win like one trophy, which was the League Cup in 2012. I'm just exhausted. I'm bored. I wake up every day, think about the club, and I just get nothing back.
How old are you? Sorry.
15.
15. This is a very interesting point I want to make. So, obviously, we're running FanPark Live here, and people like myself, I'm 32, my brother's 34, nearly 30, 34 next month, isn't you?
Yeah.
So we've grown up, and we didn't know. For instance, when we hear people say they support Chelsea, we sometimes, it's since Roman Abramovich had his money. But the interesting thing is, if somebody's around their early 20s or younger, from when they've been children, these teams have been massive.
Yeah.
If their history of football is sort of from 2004, 2005 and beyond. For a 15-year-old here, you sound a lot older than 15, by the way. Like, his Liverpool experience has been really poor.
Yeah, exactly.
And does the history really matter to you that much?
The thing is, whenever I'm with my friends, I can only brag about history so much because a lot of my friends are United, Chelsea, even Arsenal. They say, like, history doesn't matter. I'm trying to agree with them because we can go on about our history, but, for example, United could... Well, we're more likely to win the European Cup, so we can just keep bragging about five European Cups. But if United can go on and win 4, even 5 European Cups, we're not moving as a club. We've literally just stayed the same. We are literally Arsenal without any glory. That's the truth.
Let me see if this rings true. People need to listen to Babs when it comes, whether they're Arsenal fans of the same age, 15 to 25-year-olds, Liverpool fans, etc. History's great. We understand our history. We understand the heritage of our football clubs. But when I think of Man United winning the European Cup in 1999, it fills me with more joy than when we won it in 1968 because I remember it. I remember the feeling in 1999 of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer live, watching it, that goal going in the back of the net. You can never expect, no matter how many books you read about your club, how many videos you watch, how many stories you hear from your elders, that stuff will excite you a little bit. But when you relive those moments, they excite you. Young Arsenal fans that don't remember or weren't born when the Invincibles happened don't get the same euphoric feeling as the grown-ups and the children that watched it. Is that how you feel? Like the history's nice, but you don't remember. I assume you don't remember winning the European Cup against AC Milan in 2005.
I don't. The only thing I remember is my dad screaming his head off. That's really. I've seen videos of him. I've seen videos of him screaming his head off. But other than that, the last memory of true happiness for me at Liverpool is when we won the League Cup, and that's just poor. I wasn't alive when we won all these trophies, but for the club of our size, for example, Liverpool in the last 10 years, is just an average club who finishes top 4 twice. We're not really ever going to win the league. Right now, we're not a big club. We're not acting like a big club. We don't look like a big club. Our team definitely isn't one of a big club. We say we're a bigger club than City, but none of our players would get into City's team. That's the reality. I mean,
well, look, listen. You're a Liverpool fan. I'm gonna allow you. You're entitled to your opinion. I would probably argue that Salah has an opportunity of getting into that team, maybe. Yeah. But you're right in terms of how many would, if only one would potentially get in there, maybe 2. They certainly do need to improve that, and it's interesting. Look, Babs, I really do appreciate your call. Some great insight there, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Liverpool are not a million miles away from becoming a good side or contenders, but they've just got, Klopp's got to realise the flaws. Obviously, he's got to. He's an intelligent football man. He must realise the flaws in his team. It's just down to him to do something about it.
Well, they've got a better squad than Leicester, and they won the league.
Yeah, but this season, Man City have just been a cut above everybody else. So, the comparison to Leicester, I get what you're saying. They did win the league with Robert Hoof and Wes Morgan at the back.
What's going on, you fair fish? Man like Matt, and I've got with me Drifty. As you can see
system. They had a system that was hard to break down,
right.
and they countered.
They did, yeah.
And when Jurgen, and I go back, a caller said it earlier, when Jurgen Klopp says you can write the book of defending on 2 pages, that would make me panic as a football man.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, I know as an amateur defender myself, you know, you take pride in defence, and, you know, great strikers will win your games, but great defenders will win your championships. You know what I mean? There is a difference. You've got to have a solid foundation, and Liverpool just haven't got that. It's week in, week out. Nothing seems to change. Look, I think you need to give Van Dijk to the end of the season in terms of becoming that leader, becoming that spearhead in the middle of the defence, and probably in the summer, from a Liverpool point of view, if Klopp's still there, look to sign somebody else to work alongside him, because Lovren's no good, Klavan's no good, Matip possibly, but you've got 2 defenders in Lovren and Klavan that are just, they are not, they're borderline Premiership standard.
No, I absolutely agree. We've got a video that's been sent in by the Football Banter Show. We're going to play that for you now, so enjoy it. We'll be back in a little moment.
What's going on, UFF? It's your boy, Man Like Matt, and I've got with me Drifty. As you can see from his face, I've lost my voice. I'm peed off. We just drew the game, and it's the way how we drew the game. Now, Tottenham had 2 penalties today. They scored 1. And
neither of which were a fucking penalty, by the way. The injustice is fucking criminal. I am fucking pissed. I don't think you understand what's going on right now. Them cheating little fuckers.
Listen, in my opinion, Spurs did, especially the second penalty, wasn't a penalty, yeah? Van Dijk went to the ball, tried to clear it, pulled his leg away, and the man dropped down like he got shot. It was not a penalty. No, it wasn't even close. When you see the replay, you'll understand it. Mo Salah, let me just pick up Mo Salah.
Big up man like Dejan.
And
big up man like Dejan.
And Karius played something.
It was kind of his fault for the first penalty, as in like the way he tried to clear it and he sliced it. But Harry Kane was offside. Yeah. It shouldn't have been a penalty in the first place. Karius bailed us out. Karius. Oh my God.
Listen, Karius had a stormer today, saved the penalty and made 2 amazing saves as well.
But other than that kind of mistake, Lovren was fucking immense today. I will always give credit where it's due. Lovren was fucking immense today. King Mo, the Prince of fucking Egypt, the Prince of Anfield. You know what? On the balance of play, Tottenham played fucking well.
Tottenham played better than us.
They played well today, but we played poor. That was the thing. We gave them too much of the ball, too much respect, and after we got the lead, we kind of didn't build on it. But you know what? We defended like animals today. Nobody can say Liverpool can't defend with performances like that. That was a great defensive performance.
Let me just say this, people, like what Drifty said here, Tottenham, in my opinion, they did play better. But in terms of the result, you got to look at it like this. We scored 2 goals that were well deserved. 2 goals from Mo Salah, The way how Tottenham got their equaliser was not deserved at all, because it wasn't a penalty. Do you get what I'm saying? So even though Tottenham, in my opinion, played slightly better than us today, they dominated the game. We defended amazingly well. Karius' best performance. So they have it, people. It ended 2-2. Fair controversy.
Listen, UFF, if there's any Tottenham fans watching, you need to thank your lucky fucking stars that ref was a fucking Spurs fan today. I'm telling you that for free.
Boy, anyway, it's Man Like Matt, Football Banter Show, UFF, Drifty, and people.
They've ruined my fucking VIP. My VIP Anfield Day.
Alright, people, we're out. Easy.
Look, I was a regular. I was a season ticket holder at Manchester United for many years, and when you watch a game live with no replays, you have a very different view of the game. When they calm down, and I say this to, if you watch my channel, The Football Terrace, a lot, you'll know that I watch Man United's games 2 or 3 times, 90 minutes worth. When you watch it back with no anxiety, no passion, no fear, you see it differently. Clearly, they said that, like, he pulled his leg away, Van Dijk. He clearly booted him in the back of the leg. They haven't seen the close-up replay. It was a penalty. But you understand their frustration.
Oh, definitely. I mean, look, if from where, I don't know where they were sitting in the crowd or whatever, but the first penalty to them would have looked like it wasn't. Yeah. Because it looked like their own player played it through, but it actually came off a Liverpool player, and you know, it was a bit of a light touch, but there was contact.
Yeah, well, this is what unless you haven't seen it, the linesman was asking the referee, did Lovren touch the ball on its way through? And the referee, you could clearly hear the linesman say, if Lovren has touched it, it's not offside, thus it's a penalty. And you can clearly see Lovren touched it, so it weren't offside. That wasn't the reason it went a penalty. You can then debate whether or not Harry Kane went down easy, whether there was contact. I believe there was contact. It was silly from Karius, penalty. The second one, if you were telling me he didn't kick him in the back of the leg, you are actually deluded. And I'm not talking about Drifty and the Football Banter Show that are at the game. They haven't had the opportunity to see it back.
There's contact.
There is contact. He kicked him in the back of the leg. It happened. But they were right in what they said. Spurs deserve to win that game. I'm going to do some of the comments coming through here, and then we can discuss them. Spurs are nothing without the referee. Well, that's not true because they dominated the game.
No, but Spurs, they shaded the game overall. Liverpool had the first half, but Spurs were so dominant in the second half. You know what? These two penalties are actually overshadowing Wanyama's goal.
Yeah,
I think. I mean,
everyone is forgetting it. Everyone is forgetting the fact that he scored goal of the season.
You know what I thought? When he came on the bench for Dembele, I thought, right, you've taken off an attacking player, a playmaker for a defensive midfielder. I thought, what difference is he going to make? That's so wrong.
Bang! Yeah. And I mean, what a goal it was. A few more of these things. Someone's saying here. Stephen Gerrard here has said, what do you mean it's obvious? Just because he's a big name doesn't mean I've ever backed him, never backed him, or I don't know what that comment means. I thought you were talking about the decision and I carried on reading it. It turns out you wasn't. Yeah, I know why you think that. Our fans seem to support him more than the club, but that's beyond insanity. Are you talking about Jurgen Klopp? Look, Jurgen Klopp's getting backing. If Jurgen Klopp wasn't as funny, didn't run around and cheer on the sideline like he did, if he wasn't as eccentric as he portrays himself, I don't even think the quality of football would gain him as much support. He's a media darling. That's a fact. He's a media darling right now. Everybody loves him. He comes across well. You know, and since he cleared up his dirty teeth, even more people... you notice one day he had his dirty teeth. The next day they were like Simon Cowell's. They were like pearly, pearly whites. Deluded, but the ref was awful, is what Curtis believes. I don't see what the ref was awful about. No. The only poor decision he made was when I think Milner committed a foul and the ball came into Harry Kane in the middle and he didn't play the advantage. Yeah, that was the only poor decision. Everything else he did was. I
think the officials had a good game and the linesman for the penalty, you know, he called it. I think they got them 2 penalties right overall.
Quite a few people are asking what football team you support.
I'm a Leyton Orient supporter for my sins. We were born and raised in Leyton, and we used to live 10 seconds from the ground. And I ended up supporting them, and
I didn't.
I wish I hadn't. No, he made the right decision and supported Man United, and I'm suffering watching the O's in the conference this season.
Barnett T says Virgil van Dijk never touched him. There's a different camera angle that shows that. Well, send me a link. Send me a link to that other camera angle and I watch it. But
it looked like Van Dijk went up his leg and his back.
Kicked to fly. Yeah, that's what we saw. That's what I thought we saw. I've got a call coming through. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Will.
Hello, Will. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Massive fan of the Football Terrace. Best football channel on YouTube.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate the compliment. What team do you support?
Tottenham. Big up the Coys, obviously.
So, look, let me ask you first of all. Actually, we'll start with a positive. Wanyama's goal. How good was that for you?
I just want to say, he owes me a whole bottle of Peony because that went everywhere when he scored that goal.
We were the same in here.
Man, that goal nearly took the net off. It was such a sweet strike.
That beautiful Italian beer went everywhere. I was so happy.
When you're an armchair fan like I am these days, and a lot of people are, most people are. That's the experiences you remember in a game. It was sensational. A lot of people now commenting saying that I don't know if you've seen any additional angles that we haven't here. Did Van Dijk kick Lamela in the back of the leg?
Yeah, definitely. But when they his legs are so long, but he definitely did.
Yeah, it looked like Van Dijk was just trying to play the ball, but didn't see him coming.
Yeah, he didn't see.
He didn't see him, did he?
He came on his blind side. Yeah.
But I just want to say, like, for the first half, I was quite panicky. It cost a long time to get the momentum flowing. We didn't really give anything until about the 60th minute to get the petrol going.
Yeah, well, look, I think
scary.
That goal you conceded in the opening 2 minutes, that changed the course of the game, because you suddenly started attacking more. You looked nervous. You were disorganised. I didn't think the formation in the first half was working. But all credit to Pochettino, who went away at half-time, probably gave a few people a bit of a rollicking, made some subtle changes to the lineup, and then on top of that, Liverpool's legs went, and they looked absolutely shot to bits. And I think the save from Karius for the penalty rejuvenated the team. An example being, I'm taking it away from these two teams, I remember, we speak about 1999, I remember Juventus were absolutely dominating Man United away in Turin in the second leg of the semi-final. And Peter Schmeichel made this world-class save. And I remember the commentator, Clive Tilsley, said that save might just spark Man United into life and give them a new lease of energy. Within a couple of minutes, Man United had got a goal back. And I saw that with Liverpool. That save rejuvenated the team. The stadium's energy that was nervous for half an hour lifted. Mo Salah out of nowhere scored a Messi-like goal. And you think it's done and dusted. But Harry Kane misses that penalty.
Yeah, I was quite upset when he missed that. I got to admit, I was like, that 100 goal, it's like a curse almost. I'm probably happy he broke that and he could move on.
But the balls he showed for when they got the second penalty, we were kind of saying, is someone else going to grab the ball and take it? He grabbed that ball and he buried it, didn't he? You know what I mean? He thought, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think when Liverpool took Miller off, I think he was playing quite good today, and I think when he took him off, and it almost looked like they went 3 on the back, it actually changed the whole game for Tottenham. Yeah,
I think you're right. The substitutions didn't actually improve Liverpool. They were tired.
Literally, he wasn't playing good at all from a respectable standpoint.
No. Let me ask you this question. You've got some great defenders at your club. Toby,
they're actually missing him.
Yeah, you've got one who's missing, but you've got some great defenders at your football club. Is Virgil van Dijk, in your opinion, worth £75 million? I mean, I'm going to get these stats up. I don't know if they can be put up on the screen, but I'm just going to go onto the internet now. We're doing this live. This is how you know we're live. We don't always prepare these things. This has just popped into my head now, but I want to look at this. Since he's been in the team, £75 million defender. Liverpool fans saying they'll improve from when he comes in. So, since he's been in the team, they've conceded 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 goals in 6 games since they've signed the most expensive defender in the world. As a Spurs fan, how much are your defenders worth in comparison?
I just think the difference between Tottenham and defence, they work in a unit. They've got each other's back. Yeah. They're always pushing each other up. And I feel like when you compare Van Dijk to the likes of Dyer, Sanchez, Trippier, that's no really comparison, because how can one man fix that massive problem Liverpool has?
You're 100% right. They have got an issue. They've got a good player in Van Dijk, but he's surrounded by inexperience and other poor centre halves. I think I remember Alex Ferguson said it best. Obviously, defenders win you trophies.
They do, yeah. Attacks win you games, defenders win you trophies. And I'm getting a guy comment on here saying, Terry, you are such a biased shithead. I'm not being biased, because I praise Liverpool's attack. I say how wonderful they are. I'm telling Liverpool to get a manager in that can create defensive solidity so you can challenge for a title. How is that a negative thing to say about your club? I actually seem to have more faith in your club, your badge, your honour, your history and heritage than you do. I find it staggering. Look, Jamie Carragher said it, I think it's around about November time. They were dissecting a game where Liverpool were conceding goals, and people were saying, I think Jamie Redknapp was saying Van Dijk's going to come in and he'll improve it. And Carragher was pointing out, saying, okay, well, he was looking at all the mistakes and saying, well, Van Dijk would be in position A. That won't stop position B, C, D and E from making mistakes, because there's a lack of quality and a lack of organisation. And you've seen that. Exactly. 6 games, 11 goals conceded, when you have spent 3 times the amount of money that Man United spent on Rio Ferdinand.
I mean, and the thing is, I was quite nervous when I saw Tottenham's fixtures. Obviously, Man U, Liverpool, Arsenal. Then they go off to Italy. I was quite scared, but now I'm looking more confident, excited. That's more like bring it on. But before I was a bit nervous. But there's a lot of hard games, and our squad from top to bottom is stacked, but it's not very. There's not much depth to it. I don't think as much as other teams have. So I'm looking forward to it now.
You got the big game against Arsenal next week, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, luckily they're away, and I mean, all the Arsenal fans are hyping up, obviously, Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang. They take Everton, so I think they are, hyping up a little bit too quick.
If you pick, I mean, if we look at the, can we get the One Football app up on the screen, please? If we just go and have a look at the moment when this loads up, we're going to get the league table up here. Look at where it stands now. Oh, I've gone onto an advert by mistake. Here's the league table.
I mean, Tottenham has to break in the top 4 because we cannot go into the new stadium playing Thursday night football.
This is the thing. You're 2 points behind. You're 2 points behind Liverpool now. You need to beat Arsenal at home. That will put you on 52 points, and then you have a fairly decent run of games after that, and that puts you in a very good position. Imagine that you go through your three games against United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. If you walk away from those games with 7 points, that's a very good return. Very good return indeed.
It goes into Juventus with all the boys confident, head held high. It goes in with a lot of momentum, and I think when Tottenham have momentum, they're much better.
Absolutely, and you can also, there's like a double-edged sword. It's more than a double-edged sword. You push on into the top 4 race with more vigour. You end Arsenal's race for the top 4 position if you beat them, I believe, this coming weekend. And then you win the North London derby.
Yeah.
Like if you do that, literally, you literally can sit there and talk about a power shift. I'm not saying it's completely happened yet, but you can banter it, you can have a laugh and a joke with it, and put it out there, mate.
We'll see, because Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan, they are really, really good, but they play against Everton. I mean, that's not really much bragging rights there, you know what I mean?
I'm not sure the Arsenal fans are too deluded with the fact that it's going to be the same type of game. Although, look, you can only beat what's put in front of you. They did play well, but obviously Spurs are going to be a completely different side to the one they faced.
Exactly, and they are playing away, and their away form obviously isn't as good as their home form.
Although they kind of like Wembley, don't they, Arsenal? I think it's the last 8 times they've been there. They've won. I know they've been cup games. I
hate to say it, but it's almost their home really as well.
Yeah. Mate, really do appreciate your call. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Take care, boys.
Cheers. Thank you. I want to read out a comment here from a Liverpool fan. It says, Terry, you're an absolute moron. He says, by your logic, Tottenham can't hold on to Leeds either because they just conceded 2 goals today. You're biased against Liverpool, you string. Well, I'll answer that if you think I'm a moron. One, Spurs haven't conceded winning positions in the league at the frequency, or in Europe at the frequency that Liverpool have. Liverpool have dropped more points from winning positions than any other team in the Premier League over the last calendar year. That's a fact. So you put that into the equation, you're wrong. Secondly, Liverpool don't have the heritage and history or background that Liverpool do. I don't believe that Liverpool and Spurs to be judged on par with each other in terms of where a club of that status should be. So Spurs finishing 4th and 3rd, looking better as they have done. I think that's about where they deserve to be. They could obviously go on and win league titles and do more. I expect a team like Liverpool, your club, to be doing better than they are. I seem to have higher expectations for your club than their own fans. Maybe that's because I respect your club a lot. As a rival, I respect them. But maybe it's because you've been so diluted. Your expectations are so diluted. You've gone through so many years of mediocrity. So many years without tasting the sweet victory of a league title. So many people don't even remember winning the last European Cup. All the young fans coming through. The older fans, they hang on to history. You know, like a history teacher at school. Nobody wants to do history at school. They have these like small classrooms of people, and the teachers try and make it sound like it's brilliant. That's what Liverpool is. They're like history class. Nobody wants to do it.
There's too much of a focus nowadays around just getting that top 4 position and seeing as success. I mean, success is winning the title, not getting top 4 just for Champions League.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Jimmy.
Sorry, what's your name?
Jimmy.
Jamie. How are you, Jamie?
Yeah, great, yeah.
Good. Who do you support?
Liverpool.
Okay, cool. So, what's your overall views of the game today?
Well, I don't think the first one was a penalty because he didn't touch him. And the second penalty, there's a few videos all over Twitter and stuff that Van Dijk didn't touch him on that one either.
Okay.
Also, I don't think Klopp's been backed. Like what you were saying earlier, that Klopp's been spending 75 million on Van Dijk is getting Naby Keita for 66 million. But that's only this year. Next year, he's been in the job for what, 2.5 years, and every single year before this year that we've been in positive, if not like really low net spend.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you. Okay. Why is the net spend?
Also, Van Dijk's only played 2 or 3 games this year. Like you said earlier, that we've played 6 games and let 11 goals. But
okay, what games has he played in then? What games has he played in?
He played in the Everton game where it was 1-1.
Yep.
And he scored the goal in the FA Cup. He played in the what was it? He played in this game.
Yeah, I think.
Yep.
Didn't he miss that? Didn't he
I think
miss a
he
game?
played in
Possibly?
one more.
Okay, so I think he might. So if he missed the City game, then okay.
He did play in the City game.
No.
Okay, so that means he's conceded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means he's conceded 8 in 4. That's still pretty bad.
He played in like 3. I think he played in 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, but how many goals have you conceded in those games?
I'm not 100% sure, but it's probably like 5 or 6. But still.
He needs more time, but don't you think?
He needs more time.
But he needs to. I think in the summer you've got to look at the other centre half that's playing alongside him. I don't think you haven't got another good centre half for him to play with.
Yeah, but Klopp's not been back. Everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, he's got 75 million for Van Dijk. Yeah, he's getting Naby Keita." But that's only been back for this season and the middle of this season and next season. He's not been back for the last 2.5 years.
So how many players has he brought in? How much has he spent?
Well, past this, not that much really. He's not spent
hundreds of millions of pounds he spent.
If you Google it, the last year was 20 million profit, and then the year before that, I think.
Okay,
it was
let me ask you this:
mil.
why do you think your net spend is so good?
Because the club's not backing them. They are this year.
No.
This year.
No. The reason your net spend is good is because you can't hold on to your best players. Why can't you hold on to your best players?
I'm not included this year. This year our net spend profit because we sold Coutinho, and that's outweighed the Van Dijk spending. But if you look at the last 2 years, we've not really sold anyone that big.
Okay,
we've not really brought anyone in that big, have we?
Okay, but you committed. You were rejecting bids from Barcelona in the summer of all their millions, right? You didn't want to sell Coutinho.
Yeah.
In the summer, you were trying to sign Keita. In the summer, you were trying to sign Van Dijk. So they were backing him. You've been trying to spend the money. You have. This is the point I'm trying to make. The club have tried to back him. Big players either haven't wanted to come, or you haven't been able to land the deals, and you've ended up selling your best players. When big players don't want to come, and when your best players leave, generally your net spend is very good. Your manager is part of that problem. People don't want to stay and play for him. Big players don't want to come and play for him.
I think big players will come and play for him. It's just we've only just got the money in. It's January. Nobody sells the big players in January apart from us. We sold 1 player. So we have to
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang moved. Alexis Sanchez moved. You actually sold your best player.
Sanchez has to move because it was long the contract. Either that or get him for free.
They swapped him, but they still did the business. The point is, look, I'm not trying to catch you out and anything. I'm just trying to say, don't be suckered into this net spend myth. Teams that have good net spend either don't have clubs that are backing. They're either not a very well-run club, or they lose all their top players. And if you're a manager who's losing all of his top players, the fundamental fact of the matter remain. If you're losing your top players, you are part of that problem, because Pep Guardiola's not losing his best players. Jose's not losing his best players against their will. Fergie never lost his best players. When Arsene Wenger and Arsenal were flying, they didn't lose their best players. As soon as Arsenal started to lose their best players, they ain't winning anything anymore. Any team that celebrates having good net spend is celebrating mediocrity. It's a nonsense. Football clubs, yes, you want your football club to make profit, because if they start losing money, you go bust, you go out of business. But to celebrate, going, we finished 5th but we only spent £5 million net. Well, imagine if your club did spend £100 million net, where you could end up. And if they've got the money to do it, amazing. But if Klopp's willing to play at a club where they're not being backed, if Klopp's part of the management team that loses its best players, where they don't want to play for you, where they're handing in transfer requests, there's an inferiority problem here. Not just the board, not just the manager, it's everybody. Net spend is bullshit. Sorry, but what were you going to say?
Well, yeah, but look, when clubs like Barcelona come calling for your best player, you know, Coutinho's head was just turned, let's be honest about it.
But if Liverpool were as big as they make out, it wouldn't have been, because Sergio Aguero's head ain't been turned. Big clubs look at him. Man United have lost big players in the past, but once every 10 years.
Yeah, but the fact is, you're right, Liverpool ain't a big club no more. They're not a big club no more, and the one of the biggest clubs in the world came for Coutinho to be part of that front three, and he wanted to go.
Stephen Gerrard here says, Terry, you don't get it. We always lose our best players, regardless of the manager, from Owen to Alonso to Sanchez to Sterling to Coutinho. The owners never back the club. This guy don't get it. What are the owners not doing? Why are those players wanting to leave?
You look at the players he just mentioned there: Owen, Suarez, Alonso, and you add Coutinho. They only went to bigger clubs.
No, I get that.
They only went to bigger clubs.
I totally get that.
You know,
but if let's just take Jurgen Klopp in this scenario. Forget previous players and managers. If he could get his defensive organisation right, stop conceding goals, they could win a Premier League title.
They could do.
If they won a Premier League title,
I think he's got another year left in him, Klopp. If he don't make strides next season, he's in big trouble. I think he's got a year left. He's going to ride out this year. I've got a niggling feeling they could go far in the Champions League with that team. Over 2 legs, Liverpool could do some damage in the Champions League. But I think he's only got one summer left. I'll tell you what, you see much of that Cater.
He's a quality player.
If he transfers what he's doing where he is now, my gosh.
He's brilliant. And this is the point. Liverpool can attract big players. They always have been able to. But the players leave because they're not winning titles. And they're not winning titles because the managers can't get the best out of those squads. And Liverpool, from when me and you were kids until now, have had squads where you've gone, wow, they should be challenging, and they don't. If Jurgen Klopp last year won the league and cup double, Coutinho wouldn't have wanted to leave. It's my opinion. If he then saw that we're going to reinvest money and bring in better players, they were actually winning trophies. Because you know what happens? You get to like 25, 26, 27, and you think, I love being here, but I ain't gonna put that silver around my neck. It's why Spurs are running the risk of losing their big players, because they're all going to start hitting their late 20s and go, I've won nothing. That's because your managers ain't good enough or your club don't back you. But the fans, they celebrate good net spend. That's like celebrating losing.
No, net spend's got nothing to do with it. It's who you bring in and who you keep hold of. The financials. Look, you want every fan should want their club to be run with a stable footing. You don't want your club to spend money it hasn't got.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Listen, thank you everybody for tuning in with us today. Please make sure you go down to the description below and download the One Football app. Okay, make sure you download that, get it out there, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Take care. Good night. God bless. Thank you all for tuning in.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Danny, for being involved with us today. Take care.
Bye-bye.